Hi Internet, Ryan and Jenny here with another weekly update and Africa story time. So this one is over the bus crash that happened in early 2014. So some background coming into it, Jenny and I were going between Gaborone and Maun, which is about an 8 to 12 hour drive. And usually we stopped in a little town called Palapye. We'd fill up on petrol and we'd get some food. We'd stop at a place called Hungry Lion, which had pretty good chicken and fries for about $3. It's pretty hard to beat. Usually we'd stop there and get fuel just because after that point it becomes a lot more sparse to get fuel and food heading out towards Maun. You start to cross parts of the Kalahari and the majority of the Maketi heading out that way. So first, a little bit of background on the story. So driving in Botswana can be interesting. Some of the roads, once you get further west into western Botswana, central Botswana, northern Botswana, the roads have a lot more potholes in them. You start to get cattle crossings, even wildlife crossings like elephant and giraffe. So you always got to be watching. In addition to that, there are buses that can pretty much do what they want, it seems like. They go usually 90 miles an hour on some of the open stretches, and if you're in their way, they'll pass you, whether it's a passing zone or not, whether there's a curve or not, whether there's traffic coming in the other direction or not. At times, well actually, I'd say often, we've had to go 3 wide, and you just hope there's enough room for all 3 of you to pass. It can be crazy once you get out there in the middle of nowhere. So now on to the story. Me and Jenny were in Palapye at a little petrol station. Jenny had just gotten back from getting food. Came back to the truck and we were filling up and we heard screaming and looked up and saw a bus that was going probably 40 or 50 miles an hour off the road, turn on its side and crash into a telephone pole. So I look around and everybody's just standing around. So I throw the keys to Jen and I start making my way over there, and just there's a crowd of people. Usually there's a lot of people in general at these stops because there's not much going on. Everybody congregates there where there's all shops and food and petrol, all that stuff. So everybody's standing there. So I run over there realizing, I'm guessing I'm probably one of the only ones that has training in first aid. So I ran up there and kind of hesitate because we're in Botswana. This is one of the highest AIDS per capita in the world. I think they're number 3 right now. I think they may have been either 2 or 3 back then in 2014. But kind of hesitate. I don't have gloves at this point. What happens if I need to stop bleeding or something along those lines? Am I willing to take that risk? And just kind of sit there and breathe it in and breathe it out. And yes, I got to do what I can. So I run up there, go around the back of the bus, and the emergency exit's boarded up. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. So I climb up on the bottom of the bus. It had turned on its side, so I climbed up the bottom over the drivetrain and the transmission, all that stuff, onto the top of the bus, which was actually the side, and get ready to see if I can get in one of the windows. And looking in, and it's empty. It doesn't make sense. And I kind of turn around, and there's another guy who had followed me up there. Another local guy followed me up there, and I look at him, and I'm like, it's empty. And we're kind of looking in, and it's like, this doesn't make any sense. We're expecting to see 20 or 30 people in there, and it's empty. And then we realized that it had to have been being towed. And it all dawns on us, and kind of a sigh of relief that there's nobody hurt because there is nobody in it. And we climbed back down, still kind of dumbfounded at what we saw, and just gave each other a hug, and just me and this random guy in Palapye, breathing a sigh of relief that nobody was hurt or worse, and just embraced each other for a moment and then went our separate ways. And it just hits home the realization of living in sub-Saharan Africa. The AIDS per capita is extremely high. And more on that, Jenny?
According to the CIA World Factbook, 22.82% of the population of Botswana have HIV or AIDS. That number has gone down and will hopefully continue to trend down, but it is still a problem. It is something that hopefully we'll be able to help work on with the kids so that the next generation doesn't have as much of the HIV problem as there is now. We need to make sure that they're educated on ways to protect themselves from this deadly disease, and we need to make sure that we are taking precautions to protect ourselves and the children.
And once again, we are still raising support for our ministry to go back to Botswana. People have asked us, how can I be a partner with you guys? How can I donate? So I've attached a video and just go to our ministry page. You'll see us and our lovely picture of our family. Scroll down to the bottom. There's actually a digital form, and it shows you how you can donate either a one-time or recurring monthly donations. Or if you keep scrolling down, there's a place where you can actually mail in a donation. Just make sure you put For the Ball Family on there. And once again, we just want to thank you guys for joining us for Africa Story Time. Have a good week.